Today on Northern Revolutions, I'm going to take a look at some of my record pickups for the month of October. So stay tuned. Hey, Vada community, it's Rob from Northern Revolutions. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. I'm going to talk to you about some of my record finds for the month of October.
Hello, I'm Bert. I have a confession to make. I like Taylor Swift. So, unless you live under a rock, you know that Taylor Swift dropped her 10th studio album last week called Midnights. And I bought it. Of course I bought it. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I know that's not cool, but I don't care. Music shouldn't be about what's cool. It should be about what you enjoy. And I think there's a tendency to dismiss her as just some bubblegum pop and not give her any serious credibility. I really think that Midnights is a true sequel to her last two albums, which was Folklore and Evermore. I love those albums too. They're very much folky, acoustic pop folk, I guess. They're very airy, very piano-driven, sparse arrangements, but very well done. This new album, Midnights, is the same kind of songs, the same kind of songwriting, similar themes, except that it's much more electronic. There's a lot of processing. There's a lot of synth. If Folklore and Evermore are brother and sister, this is the first cousin. But it makes a really nice trilogy, and the three albums really stand apart from the rest of her catalog. Much more mature than her earlier stuff. I quite like it. If you want to check out a good review on this, go see Chris Prophy, Musically Obsessed. He talked about this very album and why he thinks it's a pretty good album.
Hey everybody, I don't know what that was. Somebody hijacked my channel. Weird. Anyway, obviously, I'm going to start with the Beatles Revolver Super Deluxe vinyl box set. I'm not going to talk about it because everyone else has already talked about it to death. I should say I'm not going to talk about it in this video, nor am I going to do a review of it. What I am going to do in a couple of weeks, Mike, PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, and I, we're going to do another video where he and I just kind of have an open discussion about our thoughts about the Revolver box set. For those of you that haven't watched the video I posted earlier in the week, Mike and I did a collaboration where we talked about some of our Beatles grails. I'll leave the link for that. Please check it out. My first collaboration. I've been a big fan of PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, since I joined YouTube, and I really enjoyed working with Mike, and there will be more collaborations between him and I to come. That's all I'm going to say about Revolver for now. Some of my other interesting pickups for the month. I finally was able to locate a copy of Creedence Clearwater Revival live at Woodstock. This just came out, I don't know, a couple months ago. This is a great, I mean, I love live albums to begin with, and I love Creedence. This has got some great stuff on it. Born on the Bayou, Green River, Commotion, Bad Moon Rise, and Proud Mary. Susie Q, which is like a 10-minute jam that closes out the entire fourth side of the record, is amazing. This is, there's one other Creedence record, which was called The Concert, which came out in the 70s. That's a good one. This is better. It's double vinyl, got a gatefold with the band inside. Just picked this up at my local record shop this week. I've been looking for it for a while, so I'm glad to have picked this up. If you like CCR and you like live albums, I mean, this is a winner. Absolutely. And it's Woodstock. Another album that I picked up is a band that I love for their absurdity. I've mentioned these guys many times. The Darkness. I love The Darkness. They're a glam rock band from England, fronted by Justin Hawkins. He has an amazing YouTube channel called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Check it out. He's entertaining. Smart guy. But these guys are just outrageous in their absurdity, The Darkness. This is their current album, Motor Heart, which came out at the end of last year. This is actually the clear vinyl version. It's very good. It's like all the other Darkness albums in that it's glam rock. I mean, nothing ever compares to their debut, Permission to Land, but I think this is probably one of their more solid recent albums. So, Motorheart. I did a couple videos in the last few weeks about 90s records. One was OG pressings of 90s records, which was an idea I got from my concert buddy. And then I did a follow-up, which was modern pressings of 90s records. And this could have fit quite easily into that video, but I didn't get it until a couple days ago. Often thought of as probably one of the biggest one-hit wonders of the 90s. Left of the Middle by Natalie Imbruglia. Torn was the big song off of here that had endless video and radio airplay back in 97 when it came out. It's easy to dismiss this album that it's just a one-hit wonder. Natalie is a wonderful live performer. And 20 years later, not hard on the eyes, gotta tell you. I think she's great. This is a great female vocalist, 90s radio pop rock record. I don't really know how to describe it. It's exactly what you think it would be, but it's just, I find it very entertaining. Wasn't aware this was on vinyl. This is a music on vinyl pressing from 2016. I was actually just able to snag it last week. So interesting little bit of trivia. Everyone goes, oh, Torn was just a cover. Sort of. Torn was recorded by another band that wrote the song. I can't recall the name of the band. I'll put it at the bottom of the video here. And yes, they recorded it first, but Natalie recorded it, I don't know, 6 months or a year later with one of the other songwriters of the song. So it's kind of a cover, but the guy that wrote, one of the three guys that wrote it, produced it and played guitar on it. So it's kind of like a half cover. Anyway, Left of the Middle, Natalie Imbruglia. I did show this in my 90s video, but because it's a recent pickup, I'll include it here as well. One of my favorite albums of the 90s. Maybe one of my favorite albums of the last 20 years, 30 years, holy crap. Black Crowes, Shake Your Moneymaker, which came out in 1990. I mean, everyone should probably know this record. It is it's a rock and roll record, not a rock record. There's a fine distinction there. Twice as Hard, Jealous Again, Hard to Handle, She Talks to Angels. I mean, those songs are insanely huge hits from back in the 90s. This is the 30th anniversary remaster, which I was able to pick up the other day. I've loved this album for a long time, but I didn't own it. And when I saw it in my record store, I'm like, I got to pick this up because it's long overdue to have this in my collection. When I was at one of my local record stores that I don't frequent only is 2 record stores in the city that I live in. One is very small and it's okay. Another one's a little bit bigger, but they suck. So I don't go there. They're mainly like a CD and video store, but they have a vinyl section. At any rate, when I was in there flipping through the used section, I found a brand new repress of Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. This is like a 2014 reissue. It's absolutely mint. I've never owned this record, which is crazy. I mean, what a seminal album from the 80s. You Could Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer, Wanted Dead or Alive. Yeah. I mean, that 80s hairband sound. I mean, this is one of the albums that epitomizes that. So I would be happy to find like an old 80s, original whatever, but hell, a brand new repress that someone had probably played once and they sold as used. Bonus. What a score for me. So Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. And last but not least, the person I have said many times I think is the greatest female singer of all time, Linda Ronstadt. I have several Linda Ronstadt records. This is her greatest hits, the first one. There's a second one that is Blue. If I recall correctly, this does her hits from, the mid 70s to like 1980, I think. And then the Blue one does 1980 and onwards. Both of these are, I don't have the Blue one. I got to look for the Blue one. But this is great. You're No Good, Silver Threads and Golden Needles. Desperado, her cover of the Eagles song, which, because her cover was so successful, that's what made the Eagles version successful. Love is a Rose, That'll Be the Day, Different Drum, When Will I Be Loved, Heat Wave, Tracks of My Tears. That's just some of them. I mean, they're all great hits. I have to get the Blue one because the Blue one has her version of Tumblin' Dice, which is a Stones song. That is, her version of that is my favorite song of all time. I have it on her studio album that came out on, which was Simple Dreams. But I mean, I want to get the second greatest hits. So, but this was in the used bin for I think $5, and it's in great condition. So, had to pick it up. All right, everybody, that is my record finds for the month of October. Hope you found that interesting. Please check out my collaboration with Mike PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, where we talk about our Beatles grails, and watch for our upcoming discussion about the Revolver Super Deluxe box set. That's everything for me today, everybody. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the flip side.